Okay, in this section, we're going to be talking about angles. And angles have several vocabulary words that you have to be familiar with also. An angle, technically, is the union of two distinct rays that share only an endpoint. The rays of the angle are the sides of the angle, and the common endpoint is called the vertex of the angle. So here we have our picture. We have our two rays here, our ray BA and our ray BC. So these are called sides of the angle, and the point that they have in common there is called the vertex of the angle. Now we can name angles several different ways. We can name it by just saying, okay, this is angle 1, by labeling this the sometimes they'll have Greek letters, sometimes they'll have English letters, but we can just name it by the interior identifier there. Or we could name it by just the vertex, calling it angle B. Or we could call this angle ABC or angle CBA. The important thing is whenever you're labeling angles using all 3 points, the vertex has to be in the middle. That is just the way that we label them. So make sure that you're always doing that properly. Okay, the interior of an angle whose sides do not lie in a straight line is the region in the plane encompassed by the two sides of the angle. Oh gosh, that just sounds like a whole bunch of scariness right there, but it's really not. The interior of the angle is just this shaded part here that is the inside part of the angle. It doesn't have to be that scary. And technically, if I were to draw in this right here, this would be called an arc. And it would connect sides of the angle in a circular type fashion. Now the cool thing about arcs is that their measure is the exact same as this interior angle here of the angle itself. So for instance, if angle B here would happen to be a 30-degree angle, then that means that our arc measure here would also be 30 degrees. So that's kind of a cool thing that we talk about. Adjacent angles are angles that are next to each other. They're adjacent to each other. So in this case, in this drawing, angle alpha and angle beta would be considered adjacent angles because of them being right next to each other. Now, angles are measured in what we call degrees, like I said before, and you guys have probably seen this before. Each degree, there are 360 degrees in a complete circle. Our protractor here has a measure of 180 degrees, so we can measure with that. But there are 360 degrees in a complete circle. Each degree is divided into 60 minutes, and each minute is divided into 60 seconds. So we can get really precise with our measurements if we want to. Measuring angles, like I said, is done with a protractor, and this is what a protractor looks like. And we always have the terminal side of the angle, one side of the angle that we put the vertex in the center of the protractor and line it up. And then the opposite side, wherever that lands on, then that is the measure of that angle. So for instance, this measure here would be a 30-degree angle. This angle here looks like to be about maybe 56, 57 degrees, somewhere in between 55 and 60. So that's how you read that protractor. Now we also have to talk about some different kinds of angles. There are 4 basic types of angles, and you have to know the names of those. Those are acute, right, obtuse, and straight. An acute angle measures less than 90 degrees. So this is what that looks like. 90 degrees would be straight up and down. So this anything that measures less than 90 degrees we call an acute angle. A right angle is an angle that actually measures 90 degrees. An obtuse angle is one that measures more than 90 degrees. And a straight angle is one that measures exactly 180 degrees. We also call those straight lines. So the measurement of a straight line is always 180 degrees.